it was a wellness product company, were changing his life. And by using them, it was helping curing all these diseases he could have. And he does have some pretty amazing stories with some back pain that he had. He didn't share any of that. He just talked about how this made him a better husband and father. And I'm telling you, that topic by itself had a greater impact on those people in that room than if he had told the other stories that he could have told. So what I'm trying to say here in sharing this story is the way you tell it is more important than the words that you use. And I'll explain what I mean by that, because everyone assumes I have to tell a story based off of the disease that I have. I have this challenge or I have this problem, but we know we can't use diseases. So how do we tell it without using the disease? Well, certainly we can use symptoms of that disease, or we could talk about it. But when we help someone understand what life was like before Lifewave, we don't actually have to mention a disease or anything. And when we tell them what life is like after Lifewave, we still don't have to mention any of that. I'm going to give you a good example of this. This is something, and this is a true story. It is from a female, so I'm going to be talking from a female standpoint. So I'll try to tap into my female side as I share this story. But hopefully it'll help you understand how you can say a lot without saying almost anything. And you'll see what I mean when we're done. Well, I just want you to understand, I'm a middle-aged woman. I've had 5 kids. It's been a challenge. I got to a point in my life where I couldn't get out of bed in the morning. And when I would, it was just enough time for me to get my kids off to school. And basically would go back and climb back on the couch and lay back down the rest of the day. I just couldn't do it. And then it got to a point where when they'd come home from school, I'd try to hop up and try to be the energetic mom that I knew I needed to be, but I just couldn't do it. And after a while, I couldn't even make dinner for them anymore. I had to rely on my husband to do that. And it didn't matter what I did, it just kept getting worse and worse. I kind of got to a point where I didn't feel like life was worth living anymore. One of my friends saw me in this state and knew I was in a bad place. And so they shared these, excuse me, didn't expect to get so emotional. One of my friends shared these amazing patches with me, and by using them on my body, it created it helped me to balance back from where I was and help me get to a point where I could live life again. I actually enjoy getting out of bed. I love being able to take my kids to school and being able to spend time with them when they come home, doing their homework or whatever else has changed my life. If it hadn't been for that friend reaching out to me and sharing those products with me, I would be back in that life. I can't imagine my life like that again. And I can't imagine what my life would be like if I didn't have it. And so I'm so grateful for the person who shared these products with me. Okay. So what did I say in that story that was uncompliant? I didn't mention any diseases. I didn't really even talk about symptoms. I just talked about not wanting to get out of bed or struggling. And when I would send my kids off to school, I was back in bed. I couldn't get up and even, make dinner for my family. While those are symptoms of a specific disease, I didn't mention the disease. But how many people can relate to that story? Either not being able to get up out of bed or wanting to just crash on the couch every so often, or struggling to want to do things, it maybe being able to take care of their kids. That could be any number of diseases, but when we actually use a specific disease as a reason why that this is going to help change people's lives, you limit who can actually benefit from your story. Because if they don't have that disease, they will automatically assume that doesn't work for me because I don't have that disease. So they're obviously talking about something else, where the number of people that could be struggling with that could be someone with anxiety, could be someone with depression, it could be someone with cancer, it could be someone with fibromyalgia, it could be someone with Lyme's disease. Those are symptoms that are true of so many different things that we can actually relate to more and more people because we're sharing the story in a generic way, but still impactful because it's my story. It's emotional because it's my story. And the more we can make it emotional, the better. I also want to touch on one topic, and I think this is very important, and it's important of authenticity. The truth is always good enough. We do not need to tell something that's not true. What is happening here at Lifewave is nothing short of amazing. You know, being able to help someone earn an extra couple $100 here or there is one thing. Being able to help change someone's health is another thing. The stories can become in so many different ways. It could be on the personal development side, where I feel like because I've made this decision to do this type of a business, I'm a better husband and father. Who doesn't connect with that?